This is Jets at Noon with Cameron Poitras and Jim Toth on 680 CJOB.
Hello, Jim Toth. How are you this fine Thursday afternoon?
Oh, we got a Thursday going here, right? We got a Stanley Cup game. We got a Blue Bomber home opener. We got the Ken Wiebe coming on the show today. It's a jam-packed Thursday. It feels like a Friday. Let it wash over you. Remember 3-for-1 Thursdays? Those are illegal now, but man, were they a good time.
Let it flow. Let it flow over you. We're going to get to Ken in just a second here, but what's coming up on the show? Did you know the Oilers were dodging the media? Did you see that story?
Yeah, I saw that. The Oilers think they're better than everybody else.
So we'll discuss that. I got to get my pot shots in on the Oilers whenever I can. Third time's the charm in Atlanta, Jim. The Forsyth County Commission has approved the final agreement for the Gathering at South Forsyth, a $3 billion mixed-use project that would include or could include an NHL-ready arena. Forsyth County, if you're wondering, is about an hour north of downtown Atlanta.
What are we doing here?
We're going to talk about that.
Is it called Glendale, Georgia, like Glendale, Arizona, an hour outside the city?
And there's some news out of Vancouver about a guy that they believe that may be moved. Well, things are starting to solidify. We'll touch on that before the show's over. But happy to welcome Ken Wiebe onto the show, Free Press Jets writer, reporter, co-host of the Kenny and Renny Show. Hello, Ken Wiebe. How are you?
Weber!
Doing great, gentlemen. Thanks for having me. I hope all's well there also.
How's your short game so far this summer?
A little up and down, but thank you for asking.
A little up and down.
That's all I'm going to get?
Wait a minute.
On my report card, it shows needs improvement. But we've had some decent showings in other rounds that, we're not going to. The course record was safe at most rounds played this year so far. So enjoying it. It's a great summer so far.
Somewhere Rob McMillan put together a report, sent it to emailed it to Weber and said needs improvement.
Yeah, there's going to be a putting lesson coming up here in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Yes, no doubt. I'm just waiting for our pal Derek Ingram to get back from the U.S. Open here, boys.
Yeah, what did Chubb say? It's all in the hips? That's all you need to know.
Yeah, go to your home.
What do you think the biggest storyline so far right now in front of you this summer with the Winnipeg Jets? Beyond, obviously Nick Ehlers, I think, is the number one thing, but what else do you have on your radar?
Oh, the Taves decision. Obviously, Jonathan Taves coming back to play in the NHL. I would say it's fairly widely reported, including by myself, that the Jets are very much in the heart of the discussions here when it comes to where Jonathan will make his comeback. But that will be something that, obviously, too. We talked about the second line center position, and some folks can debate whether or not Jonathan can fill that. And the thing that I would say to that is Jonathan Taves is not coming back to the NHL to be a bit player. Is he going to be the same player he was in 2010 or 5 years ago when he was the best player in a series with the Edmonton Oilers that also featured Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl? That we won't know for some time. But Jonathan, if he's coming back to the NHL, and he says that he is, if he's going to be coming back to play, it will not be at a shadow of his former self. This is a very driven individual, and the beauty of the situation with the Jets is that when you have a guy like Adam Lowry that can handle second line center minutes when he's healthy, some combination of Taves and Lowry and Scheifele and Nemesnikov, Barron, or whoever else fills the other job, that would be a huge boost to the center depth for an organization that is looking to improve its center depth. So. And not just because he's a local guy, obviously, because he's from Winnipeg, it sort of adds an element to everything else. So with him being the pride of St. Vital here, but never mind the birth certificate. This guy's a proven winner, and the Jets are trying to level up and be a Stanley Cup, team that wins. They were a contender this year, but they want to win it all. And someone like Jonathan Taves and his winning pedigree could help them level up for sure.
We have a text already right out of the gate, Ken, that just says, "Are they keeping Nikolai, or yes or no?"
Well, I'm not the general manager, Jim, but I get to play him on the radio on occasion. So I would say, right now the Jets. Can
you not be as long-winded? I'm just kidding, Kevin. I'm just kidding.
I'll definitely be less long-winded than the Taves answer. I would say that's still a hard maybe. Jets are the only team that can negotiate with him until July 1st, unless they trade his rights somewhere else. The fact that we heard about the 2-hour meeting with Andre Rufner and Kevin Cheveldayoff. That fact that the meeting lasted 2 hours tells you that Nikolai Ehlers is at least keeping the door open there. But again, for me, Jim, if you were in Nikolai Ehlers' shoes and you played in an organization for a decade and enjoyed your time there, you would be obligated to listen to what's out there on July 1st, unless you're blown away by the offer. And even if you're blown away by the offer and you like playing in the city, I would say that with the cap going up, I think you would be obligated to at least pursue what's out there, kick the tires. And if you decide you want to go back to Winnipeg, great for the Jets, great for Ehlers. But I would say right now I'd be leaning to unlikely return. But again, we'll see what the offers are out there.
Who could fill his spot if he is on his way out? Is it an internal thing, or is something like the first round, 28th overall pick, you think in play to perhaps upgrade on that second line?
Yeah, Cam, upgrading from Nikolai Ehlers is going to be a challenge. It's a team that's trying to get faster, and he's their fastest player. And, one of their other fastest players, Rasmus Kupari, is going to be playing in Lugano this year. So in terms of who it could be used on, the crystal ball is still a bit cloudy on that front. But, once we see what happens at the draft, which teams are moving picks, there's lots of teams that are interesting, Utah, Montreal, Philadelphia, teams like that have an excess of picks and they're trying to move for players. We'll have a better indication of what the marketplace looks like, both on the trade and maybe free agency fronts. But, yeah, I think that it's pretty common knowledge that, Brad Lambert is in consideration to be on the team. Can he be a top 6 player right out of the gate? I would say you'd be asking a lot of Lambert to expect that on the first day of training camp. Now, that's not to say he can't work himself into that kind of a role. But let's face the facts. He had 7 goals in the American Hockey League last year. Nikolai Ehlers is a 8-time 20-goal scorer. So I still think the Jets are high on Brad Lambert's upside. I think Braden Yager is a guy who's going to, push in training camp, but he probably needs a part-time, if not a full season in the American Hockey League. So in terms of it becoming internal, I would say it's unlikely to be an internal candidate, but that's why those guys are working their behinds off this summer and trying to get better. So I would say it's going to be most likely to come in the trade market, guys. Like July 1st is not historically a big day here in terms of attracting high-end talent or top-end talent on the free agent market and being able to outbid folks. But I would say the Jets are definitely going to be active and making a bunch of calls. But I would say it's most likely let's just put it this way. The Jets are looking for Carter Verhaeghe, guys. Not the Carter Verhaeghe, but a guy who won a Stanley Cup with the Tampa Bay Lightning as a fourth-line player and is ready for second-line minutes. And, hey, look now, he's grown into a 40-goal scorer.
So along those lines, Ken, that's what I wanted to get to. Who are they, who would be fits? And we don't have to work out the trades or work out the free agent or anything like that. But I'm with you on the Carter Verhaeghe. This is a team, in my mind, that is probably 2 players away still. And one of them's on defense and one of them is in the forward core. So Florida's doing this, up 2-1 in a Stanley Cup Final, and Barkov and Tkachuk have a combined 1 assist in the 3 games. So who are those players that the Jets could be interested in or could make a heavy chase after?
Yeah, Jimmy, I just haven't gone through the list yet. That's going to be the job of the next 2 weeks. Which teams are actually trying to tank to get Gavin McKenna? That will be our first little bit of a target.
But would an RFA like JT Peterka or an RFA like Marco Rossi, in a deal, try to be somebody like that?
Well, I just would put it this way, Jimmy. Rossi's already a 2-time 20-goal guy. He's also 5'9" and doesn't really play a physical game, and he's not super fast. So to me, that he doesn't really fit with the Jets structure in terms of they're wanting to get faster and harder to play against. Now, having said that, could he help them get into the playoffs? Sure. He's a very skilled player. Jets would have done tons of research on him in the year they chose Cole Perfetti at number 10. So they'll know everything they need to know about Rossi. Peterka is interesting, but again, I know you didn't say offer sheet. More likely to be a trade than offer sheet. I know that, the fact that St. Louis got 2 players, but that was more of a one-off and an anomaly, especially with the cap going up. Most teams are going to be able to match. So I don't see offer sheets being a big deal around the league, even though us in the media are sometimes guilty of thinking it happened once, so now it's going to happen every single day, and every team's going to try to use that as a weapon. But yeah, that's the kind of thing you're looking for. You're looking for a team that is probably not a playoff team, that is trying to shed salary, or someone or else you're taking a chance on somebody who underachieved Like we saw it here firsthand, Val Nichushkin. So 1 goal with the Dallas Stars, now a 25, 30 goal guy with the Colorado Avalanche. You got to find a guy who's either unhappy with the situation or has untapped potential. And that's the job that, the Jets pro scouts and their department has been working on in the last, for the whole year, basically. Now we're going to dig into those names in the next couple of weeks here. So I'm sorry I didn't have, if you'd given me the homework assignment, Jimmy, I would have been more prepared.
No. I think that's more than fair because that's where we're at in this offseason is any team is trying to figure out what they're doing, including other teams figuring out what the Jets might want to do.
Oh, bang on. And I mean, we know the names that are kind of out there, but it's just the start of rumor mill and silly season. And I just think it'll be more interesting this year because of the way the draft is laid out, fellas, right? So high end, very good. But let's just say 20 to 50, there's a lot of moving targets and a lot, beauty. It's a beauty is in the eye of the beholder draft. And some years are always like that. But this year, it just, mid round and later or 20th and later, there's just not a lot of, agreement on what the lists are going to look like. So, does that mean some of those younger teams like San Jose are willing to go more youth or, when are those teams like Chicago going to start leveling up and try to get into win now mode? So once we get that sorted out in the next, couple weeks or leading into the draft, then we'll kind of know who's, which guy's available. And if, some team signs a free agent, now that other person gets bumped from 2C to 3C. Well, now we're looking at something like that. And, in our mailbag, I mentioned Cole Sillinger, guys, as a guy who, makes some sense. 6'1", 205, top 10 draft pick, hasn't really popped offensively yet. But he would be someone similarly to the, Connor McMichael, someone who we heard a lot of buzz around at the draft when the Rutger-McGrory sweepstakes were on. So a kind of player like that who's been in double digits, but maybe might be a 20-plus goal guy in a better situation. Now he's behind Fantilli and Monahan, so there's not really top 6 minutes available to him in Columbus. Maybe a guy like that is a fit. But those are the types of players that the Jets and, quite frankly, all 31 other teams are going to be looking at and trying to level up for next season.
Ken Wiebe, we'll have to leave it there. Appreciate your time. Take care.
Have a good day, fellas. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Wiebe.
Free Press Jets writer and as well as co-host of the Kenny and Renny podcast. Let's take a break. Let's come back.
A trade when we come
on the
back.
Other side. A trade?
We have a
Where?
trade to discuss when we come back.
Oh my gosh. What is it? We'll talk about that after this.
Noon with Cameron Poitras and Jim Toth on 680 CJOB.
Jets at Noon is brought to you by Wash Method Car Wash, 690 St. Anne's Road. VIP take on the text line to win a VIP car wash from our good friends at Wash Method, 204-780-6868. Coming at you live from the Boston Pizza Studio. Try the new triple pep pizza only at Boston Pizza. Jim, you said there was a trade. What's this trade?
The Anaheim Ducks have acquired Chris Kreider and a 2025 fourth-round pick from the New York Rangers. The Rangers get Carey Terrence and Toronto's 2025 third-round pick. Rangers move up 15 spots in the draft. In the swap, they go from the fourth to the third round with that pick. They get Carey Terrence, and Chris Kreider is now an Anaheim Duck.
Terrence is a centerman. He was taken in 2023, 59th overall, and he had 39 points over 45 games with the Erie Otters of the OHL. So
Chris Kreider's an Anaheim Duck.
You heard it here first.
What is going on? What are we doing in New York? I never know what they're doing.
Call the Boston Pizza Jets at Noon hotline open 24/7, 204-780-6800. Dig into the new triple pep pizza and double trouble nachos available now only at Boston Pizza.
I know what they're doing. They're clearing cap space.
NHL in Atlanta. What? All that when we come back.
To get Nick Ehlers. That's what they're doing.
Jets at Noon is brought to you by Wash Method Car Wash, 690 St. Anne's Road. VIP take on the text line is going to win a VIP car wash from our good friends at Wash Method.
Wash Method! Romance.
204-780-6868. Romance. Love. Cherished love. Cherished romance. Wash Method Car Wash. Synonymous. We'll announce the winner later in the show, which is coming at you live from the Boston Pizza Studio. Try the new triple pep pizza only at Boston Pizza. While you're doing all that, download the Jets at Noon podcast free now on Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you find your favorite podcasts. With exclusive Jets talk and content only found there, and take Jets at Noon wherever you go. and continue the conversation whenever you want. Let's talk about the Oilers hiding from the media yesterday. We'll get into that in just a sec, but
it's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, you know what? Let's talk about that now. We'll talk about Atlanta in just a second here. So, Mark Spector from Sportsnet has been on the show. I've always been a fan of Mark Spector. I met him for the first time when I was in Calgary, and he would come in every now and then when he had a new book out there about the Oilers and Flames rivalry, and he came down and I got to meet him. He's a nice guy.
Spec's a good guy.
He is, yeah. And we've had him on the show before, and he put this out on X yesterday. He said the Oilers pull a fast one on the Stanley Cup media contingent, claiming an off day for the players. Then they skated. Now, Ryan Rashad with TSN says the media were told it would be scratches only skating, and no time was given for the skate, clearly feeling they need to give their guys a break from a Stanley Cup spotlight that is getting hot, have covered well over a dozen finals, and have never had this happen before. What, Jim, what do you think about this?
Well, you know what I think, Cam. I'm in the media. I think it's awful. I think it's deplorable. And I feel bad for every Oiler fan who would like to hear what their team's thinking the last 2 days. There are rules. And if you think talking to the media for 15 to 20 minutes, select players, is the reason you're down 2-1, or you don't want to hear the questions of how you lost your mind in the third period and all that, this is part of the game. If you win this Stanley Cup, you're going to want to talk to the media about it.
A lot.
It's ridiculous, Cam. And a lot of people think that like we cry about this stuff or we whine about it and they don't have to talk to you and all that. Okay. Then after tonight's game, we won't get how they're feeling. It's just, it doesn't have to be a battle. It really doesn't. And if you don't like the line of questioning, I don't like your question.
Well, go out and win the game tonight. And then you don't have to worry about it.
Even if you don't, like this is the media gives the message to the fans. And it doesn't, the fans choose which media they listen to and who they like, who they don't, who they want to hear from and talk to about it. But you're grown-ups. You let Amazon follow you around post Game 7 of a loss in the Stanley Cup Final last year. The famous McDavid clip, dig in right now. Then don't allow that stuff. This, to me, is John Tortorella working on a panel table at TSN when he doesn't have a coaching job, and then when he does, he doesn't like the media again. Like, you use us for your benefit, and then, and I mean, some people out there are going to hate this rant and are going, oh, get over yourself and all that. It's not about myself. You've done it all year long. Remember the Matheson? Why are you so pissy today, Leon?
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah, you are. No, I'm not. And then he smartened up and started answering questions. I get it, right? Like Brad Marchand, he's up 2-1, of course, and scoring goals. He spent 20 minutes talking to the media yesterday and then 45 minutes hanging around after the media was done, just talking to the media and about different things in hockey.
Marchand understands that. He understands that side.
But he's also up 2-1, right?
Yeah.
And I got another game at home. But the idea that you went out of your way, the league needs to fine them heavily for this. The league needs to come down and say $250,000 because you have 2 games off. And in Canada, you have a CFL season started. You have the NBA finals going on. You don't have 15 minutes, 6 of you of the 22 players to answer questions.
This isn't game 36 of the regular season. This is the Stanley Cup Final, game 4. The swing game, So
you want the whole world watching you play hockey in June? Talk to them.
Listen, they can do their little thing around the media or whatever. They don't want to answer their questions. Fine. I think it's a little cowardly, and they're treating. It
is cowardly. They made it a bigger news story than it needed to be that you're down 2-1 and you played off.
Correct.
When you act like this, what you needed to do was come out yesterday. Sorry to cut you off this far. Come out yesterday and go, it's one game. We could have lost 2-1 in overtime. We lost 6-1. We'll be better.
Yeah.
We'll be better. Dustin Byfuglien. All we got to do is stick together.
I just don't think they need this protection. And if the players,
and if they do, they're in trouble.
Well, that's exactly what I was about to say.
If they need to avoid the media this way and lie to them about when they're playing and who's on the ice and who isn't, and not make available when you're supposed to be available, you've got bigger problems than being down 2-1.
That's exactly what. This is being a professional in the National Hockey League in the Stanley Cup Final, is you speak to the media. I mean, that's what you do. That's the whole point of it, right? On an off day.
Don't make the final.
Coming out of an off day, you're at a practice, to essentially tell the media one thing and then go about and do the next, and don't make players available. I mean, it's to me, it's silly. It's like, what are you guys doing?
When things like this happen, I'm being ridiculous now, but I would love to go, nobody's going to cover this league. Nothing. Just go play your games till January 1st next year. And January 1st, we'll all gather around and start putting your games on TV and radio. I know this will never happen, and I'm being ridiculous, but it doesn't have to be like this. It's a two-way street, and quite often players aren't going to like the media, and quite often the media is going to get annoyed with players and back and forth. But the greater good of the game and the greater truth of it is the players love the game, the coaches love the game, the fans love the game, the media love the game, and we all want to talk about it. We all want to watch it. We all want to listen to it, and we all want to see it practice, and we all want to hear this. We can all work together. You went out of your way to lie and avoid the media yesterday. Because of why?
I don't know what the reason would be.
Because you're down 2-1. You don't want the questions about how you lost control in the third. You don't want. I mean, come on.
But they already talked about that post game. They already talked about it post game. So I don't understand. I don't get what they're doing. I don't understand it.
My 4-year-old didn't listen to Grandpa last night when we were at his kindergarten orientation. Came home, ran away from Grandpa at the park, wouldn't come back. Blah blah blah. I made him call his grandfather before bed and apologize. You're telling me grown men can't face the media yesterday? I made my 4-year-old face something that he did wrong. The Oilers haven't done anything wrong. So what's the problem here?
I don't get it. I don't understand. That's my whole point here. I don't get it.
I don't either. I don't.
And if the players,
they made this a bigger story than it needed to be.
If the players need this, I'm with you on that one, Jim. They're in trouble then. They're seriously going through something right now. I've been in scrums when
a player comes out, first question, I'm not answering that, and he walks away. And the NHL goes, he came out.
Yeah.
That's all their obligation is to show up.
I'm just here so I don't have to sit there for 20 minutes. I'm just here so I don't get fined. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
They don't have to talk forever. They don't have to. All we got to do is stick together. We'll be fine. All we got to do is stick together. We'll be fine. But you have to show up. And you shouldn't lie about showing up.
Don't lie.
Home opener for the Oilers, October 9th, 7:30 p.m. Come out to the game. Where's the TV and radio broadcast? Oh, we're going to do your game tonight. No, we're not. It's being ridiculous. It's childish.
Yeah, it's childish. Call the Boston Pizza Jets and Noon hotline, open 24/7, 204-780-6800. Dig into the new triple pep pizza and double trouble nachos, available now only at Boston Pizza. Hey, that number one caller is going to be awarded with that $50 gift card to Boston Pizza. We've had some great calls, and we'll play a few of them and the winner tomorrow on Free for All Friday. Forsyth County Commission, Jim, has approved the final agreements for the Gathering at South Forsyth, a $3 billion mixed-use project with an NHL-ready arena, advancing efforts to bring professional hockey back to Georgia. Here's the quick notes here. The development is expected to generate significant economic benefits, blah, 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 retail, hospitality, entertainment spaces. The project aims to attract an NHL expansion team, with developers preparing documentation for league presentation, although NHL expansion plans have not been announced. It is the plan is for an 18,000-seat arena. Vernon Krause, I think that's how you say his last name. Vernon Krause, CEO of Krause Sports and Entertainment and the project's lead developer, says this vote marks a pivotal moment. We can go to the NHL commissioner, Gary Bettman, and ask him to start a process, which we're hopeful he will do. He in reference to Bettman. We're closer than we've ever been to bringing NHL hockey back to our region. Thank you to everyone who believed in our vision. Hockey belongs in Georgia. That was the goal from day one. I remain confident. When asked whether the arena would be built without a team, Krause replied, no, we would only build an arena if we get awarded an NHL franchise. Despite the NHL not publicly announcing any expansion or relocation plans, local officials are optimistic. I have a very positive outlook. We're going to land a team, said Forsyth County Commissioner Laura Simonson. If a team comes to Georgia, it's going to be here in Forsyth County. We will have given it our best shot. That's all we can do. Now, back on May 9th, NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman commented that while the league is open to returning to Atlanta, the NHL is unlikely to open the expansion process before a new collective bargaining agreement with the National Hockey League Players Association is reached. Now, things are getting very close to a new CBA coming together, and the expectation, or at least the hope, is that it will be done by the Board of Governors meeting on June 25th. Jim, Forsyth County is an hour away from downtown Atlanta.
And what's the population?
About 270,000 people in Forsyth County. So, Saskatoon.
So you need the population to buy season tickets?
Or you're going to have the rabid Atlanta hockey fan base driving north 45 minutes to an hour to go see an NHL hockey game.
That didn't work in Glendale, Arizona. And I would argue Atlanta is the same type of hockey market as Arizona. So, I mean, they're not going to build it unless they get an NHL team, right?
No.
I know, and it sounds like because of the Atlanta, Georgia area and demographics of population want to get back there. It's a huge market, right?
The NHL would love to go back. They would love to go back.
And I explained the story last week or earlier this week. I forget when. Like the owners at the time that the Jets came from Atlanta just threw the keys on the table, right? Like that wasn't normal circumstances of, hey, we're going to move a franchise. We have 18 months to do it, blah, 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 and vice versa. So if it goes, I don't get the subdivision of this. I don't get the whole, I think in Atlanta, the population that it has, you need, I know it's huge, but you have to draw from that population. You have to be able to, the idea that people are going to drive an hour to go to an NHL game on a Tuesday night is Glendale, Arizona to me.
Yeah, my mistake. It's 45 minutes. With good traffic.
That's an hour though.
Yeah.
By the time you park and by the time you get out of Atlanta.
Because it's in the southern portion of this Forsyth County, which is northwest of Atlanta. So it's in the southern area, so it's not like in the middle of it's a pretty big county, but it's quite
like Ottawa's out there, right? But they're in Canada.
Yeah.
They have hockey fans.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying Georgia doesn't have hockey fans. I got I forget my friend who shows up at Royal Sports and buys sticks and goes back to Atlanta. He's been there for 20 years and buys hockey sticks for his team down there, his senior men's team. Mm-hmm. I just, not having it in the metropolitan area, I don't, like that was the problem in Glendale.
Yeah.
There was so many fans that didn't have a problem. Like Dusty Collins played for the Moose. I've told this story 100 times. He's from Arizona, born and raised. When he grew up playing hockey, there was 3 rinks in the entire state. He tells me all the time his dad was in the oil business in Arizona, which I didn't know there was, but he worked for an oil company. I don't know if there's in Phoenix. I don't know, but he worked for an oil company. And he said they would come out from downtown, lifelong hockey fans. His son was playing pro. And he would tell me they come out of the office at 5:30 and go, should we drive out to Glendale for the game? And they look at each other, 3 or 4 guys, and they go, let's just go grab a steak and watch the game on TV, because they didn't want to make the hour drive there and the hour drive back. So I don't know people coming out in their suits or money or getting off work or grabbing the kids at school and going, are we going to drive out there? Now, I know Atlanta, if you live in certain parts, it's probably an hour and a half drive within the city limits sometimes.
Yeah.
But you got to put it in a place where it's accessible on a weeknight. Forget the weekends. You've got to sell. It's the same here in Winnipeg, right? I've always said, can you sell a Tuesday night game when it's minus 40 in February? And Utah's here, like not a big draw or somebody. Can you sell that? And that the same thing in the States. I'm all for this if they think they know there's better, smarter people than me that will know the demographics and how the economy's changed or whatever. But to do it 45 minutes to an hour outside the metropolitan area, I think is a mistake, unless I'm wrong and people will drive that far to get to a game.
So when the Atlanta Braves, right? They built a new ballpark not long, and it was in these suburbs, right? They went out to the suburbs of Atlanta, Truist Park. It's 20 minutes from downtown.
That's
so
my
it's another 25 minutes to go see a hockey game in
There's probably
Atlanta.
a rapid transit right to the stadium.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, actually, I'm seeing that right now.
And so same in Minneapolis, right? Like you can drive in from the highway and be at Target Field within minutes. Yeah. Now, you can also take a rapid transit from the airport, the south part of Minneapolis, all the way to Target Field. Maybe they will in Atlanta too. I don't know, but I don't know. I don't hate the idea like some might, but you got to put it where it's accessible from downtown.
Is a trade coming? Well, hold fast for this one Canadian market. We'll talk about that after this.
Lady Bing is out too.
On 680 CJOB.
Well, congratulations to the Wash Method Car Wash winner, winning the VIP car wash from our good friends at Wash Method, 690 St. Anne's Road. Texter says, if you think 1 hour in a car is bad, don't drive from St. Boniface Hospital to Richmond West in rush hour. And are you willing to do that 41 times during the regular season to go and see in Atlanta after you've gone through? I can't imagine the traffic in Atlanta is any good. And then you're going to leave to go see a game at 7.
And get yourself home and to bed by midnight for work tomorrow.
The county's got 270,000 people. That's essentially, because it's like, that's the problem in Ottawa, right? It's the suburb.
You know what we need to do is Google how many in that 270 subdivision county has hockey rinks.
That's a good question.
Like if there's 8 hockey rinks in that 270,000 subdivition, like the city of Regina,
and lots of moolah,
then fair enough, right? I get the idea of it, but if there's one or none,
Lady Bing, Kyle Connor finished in 15th in voting, but it goes to Anze Kopitar wins. Is it second or third? Third for him. And Pierre Lebrun says all signs point to Elias Pettersson staying in Vancouver past the start of his full no move clause in July. That from The Athletic. I don't know. What does this mean?
I would be more surprised if he wasn't.
Yeah.
How do you trade that right now?
Well, exactly.
With 11 mil on the board for a couple of years.
And if he wants to move, then he can move. I mean, JT had a full no trade.
By the way,
JT Miller had a full no trade clause, and he's at the Rangers
So
now.
did Chris Kreider, and Anaheim was on his no trade. He didn't have a full, but Anaheim was on his no trade, and he just waived it.
Jim Toth will take you all the way till 2 o'clock. Thank you very much, Jeffrey
Final
Fortier.
game tonight. We're going to talk about that.
The show. Yeah. Pre-game at 5:30, kickoff 7:30. Blue and gold right here on 680 CJOB, kicking off the season.